your host, Bri. This is our lovely co-host, Mrs. Z.
Hi, lovely.
And we are so excited to have y'all today. So excited.
So excited.
So I'm going to just be transparent with y'all because, y'all, I'm a transparent person. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. So I was just going to have a whole little breakdown over here because technical difficulties is not my little thing. I ain't even gonna lie. I hate when things do not go as planned. And let me tell y'all, this live thing. But we here. Let me take a sip of wine.
Yes.
Let me take a sip
Here.
of wine.
Let's do it. We hear you guys. We made it. And I was like, look, Bri was like, I'm not done. I was like, no, Bri. I said, wait. Let me see one more time. Let me try one thing. Because you know what? It's been a good week for both of us. I feel like this week started out bad for both of us, actually, in our own separate ways. But for some reason, it turned around. And I'm like, we got this. We're going to keep it going, keep it positive. And we are live both now on YouTube and on Instagram. So,
Y'all, let's talk about this YouTube, first of all. My week started off a little rough. We ain't gonna say bad. I hate to use bad weeks, bad days. Nothing. I don't have a bad day. Every day that I'm above the ground, it's a good day for me. So it was a little rough this week. It's been a little shaky week, but we here, we alive.
yes.
But let's talk about y'all. Y'all came through for us. Do y'all not know that? Y'all came through for us. Y'all YouTube, y'all got the YouTube because we got the subscribers. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for subscribing to our channel.
Yes.
I know I was like heavy on the follow. Like I was sending text messages out to everybody who came into my part-time job. I was like, can I see your phone? You got YouTube on your phone? Like I was being a pest. I appreciate y'all. Please don't stop spreading word. Keep spreading word so we can get out there and get more bigger. But we just wanted to take the time to tell y'all how much we appreciate y'all for just being there and supporting us, and it means so much to us.
Definitely. And, it just helps us, and we're so appreciative. So, just in case you missed last week's episode, we're going to rewind it and kind of just do a recap. A lot of you guys are dedicated followers, seen our handsome guest Zane that we had, and we're so appreciative of him. He was great. He was our first guest, and we just kind of talked about a lot of things, from would you date someone with kids to it happened to me too, it's okay. To social media and how it affects our relationships, good or bad. Talked about dating and what's important to it when it comes to you. So if you haven't watched it, make sure we will have it coming up, and we will have all of our future episodes on YouTube.
Yes.
So,
y'all, we got so many great feedbacks from the last live. It was like the love that was poured in was so it was amazing. I thank y'all so much for every suggestion, every comment, every compliment. It means so much to us, and we do take everything that you guys say into consideration. Trust and believe. I am a perfectionist, and you can ask Z. I be texting her all times of morning, nights, day. Z, this is what we need to do. I'm doing this, and I know sometimes she be asleep, but I be like, oh, I went ahead and did it. Don't worry about it. We gonna get y'all. We gonna give y'all what y'all looking for and asking for. So thank y'all.
I love it. So definitely that, and we're so appreciative. So as we go in, this week's topic is boundaries.
Setting boundaries and sticking with them. Now, we all know, I can't speak for y'all. Me personally, I have never been good at setting boundaries. Well, I ain't gonna say that. I set them for myself, but I'm not good at setting boundaries for others. Others in my life, I'm not good at setting boundaries for them because I feel like I'm an open book, But, sometimes it's okay to be an open book, but you gotta reel it in a little.
Yeah.
So in this episode, we're gonna be talking about setting those boundaries, whether it be boundaries within friendships, relationships, work, family, like why those boundaries are important and what you can do to stick with those boundaries.
Yes.
So we can just jump on in.
Let's get on in, talk about these boundaries.
So one thing I did when we decided that we were going to do this episode on boundaries, I wanted to look up the definition of boundaries.
Yes.
And I think me and Z kind of had the same idea of doing it. So, I looked up a definition, she looked up a definition, and they kind of intertwine with each other. And the main thing we took out of that definition is, limit. So the definition that I found said, boundaries are anything that marks a border. It's a real or imagined line that marks the edge or limit of something or the limit of a subject, principle, or relationship.
And for me, I found what boundary is a line that marks the limits of an area. Like she said, keyword, limits. What I should do? Watch this. Watch this. You have them boundaries, you be quick to disappear. But definitely.
And then I also wanted to take it a step further, and I was like, what is the importance of setting boundaries? Because we all know what boundaries are. We all have to set different boundaries with different people, or whatever the case may be. But what's the importance of setting those boundaries? So what I found was, it says healthy boundaries are necessary component. Sorry, y'all. Healthy boundaries are components for self-care. With or without boundaries, we feel depleted, taken advantage of, taken for granted, or intruded upon. Whether it's in work, in your personal relationship, or just your personal life in general. Poor boundaries may lead to resentment, hurt, anger, and burnout.
Yes. I think we, as humans, when you don't have those boundaries, it's quick for you to be exhausted or for you to feel like, depleted. And it's just, when you're, like you said, the other day we were talking, you're like, when you're always pouring into others and no one's pouring into you, what happens when your cup
is empty? You can't pour from an empty cup. You just can't. So yeah, and those boundaries are there to help you from feeling burnt out, feeling taken advantage of. It's sometimes, I know for myself, I'm a giver. I give freely without any expectations of receiving anything in return, because that's who I am. I have a big heart. I have a very big heart. And sometimes my heart gets me in trouble. I'm not even going to lie. I have had issues in the past with setting boundaries because I want to always, be there for people, especially if I see someone going through something that I've been through before. And I'll be like, okay, I've been through that. I didn't really have the help that I needed. So let me be that person for you. But in doing that, sometimes we overextend ourselves, which causes us to feel like we're taken advantage of or taken for granted or, like I said, burnt out. And so I can definitely agree with, those boundaries are important for that. And then it all ties back into self-care, like they said,
Definitely. And I think the biggest thing with boundaries is a lot of people know what boundaries are, and most people know importance, but I think what we struggle what we struggle with as humans and as people is our compassionate, and it's hard to instill those boundaries or set them. And so, my mom always said, you tell someone what it is. With a job, if you worth $20, you don't negotiate to 10. Or if you want to be clear and you want to be specific and specify what my boundaries are. I love y'all. I love my friends. We could do certain things, but whatever. We'll get more in detail with that as we go to topics. But you want to be clear. You want to be specific. Be firm and direct and unapologetic, because at the end of the day, they either gonna take it or they're gonna leave it, and that's who you are. And that's my biggest thing. Because I feel like if I tell people what my
That is my biggest thing, and that's something that I have been like really, really trying to work on. Like when I say no and mean to no without having to explain why I say no or apologize for saying no. No, like I just can't do it. And it's that. But when I say that in my head, I'd be like, well, what if you were in that situation, you know?
Yeah.
Or what if this was your mom or your sister or someone like that? So I'll say no, and then I'll feel bad, and I'll be like, okay, well then I guess I can. Like, no, say no and stick to that no, girl. What's wrong with you?
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
You are respected or you not. That was good. So we got a couple comments before we go into it. So just a lot of people agreeing with us. Classified Chaos, he said definitely you can't pour from an empty cup. That is true. Is that biblical? The cup runneth over. Y'all, I love the Lord, but Bri is like my guru and stuff. I'm like, you can pour in is that biblical or is that just like one of those things that everybody? Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. Spice Lady, we love her. She said some people will just take advantage of you just because. And C Tree said you have to set boundaries with everyone, including families. We getting to that, girl. And then also Red Velvet said, of course, people will take advantage of you. For real.
Absolutely. So, the first one that we wanted to just jump right into was friendships. So, friendships, setting boundaries with friendships can look different for everyone. Mm-hmm. It may be protecting of your time, your space, your money, and most importantly, your peace.
Yes.
I know for me, time is always something big for me. And I don't think I can stress it enough. Like, please do not waste my time. Like, that's big for me because I don't really have much free time with work and then now the podcast and then all my little side ventures that I do. Like, so if I make the time for you, I'm very big on please don't waste my time. If you can't make it, let me know. Courtesy text message, phone call. Hey, something came up. I can't do this. I know we plan to do it at this time. Like, that's just really, really big for me. Like, I try not to waste anyone's time. If I say I'm going to do something, first of all, I never plan anything in advance anymore. Like, I just can't. Because my schedule changes from day to day. I don't know what's going to happen. And I don't want to make a promise to someone and then I have to go back on that. And I don't want to do that. So when someone ever asks me, hey, you want to do this and such and such, I say, I will let you know. That's not a yes, that's not a no. It's a simple, let me know. Let me look at my schedule. Let me figure out what I got going on and I'm going to let you know. Because I know I hate when people say, yeah, I'm going to do this. And then I'm sitting around waiting on you and you ain't showing up. And now I feel like, dang, I could have been making money.
Like, something else.
Right. Or getting some rest, you know?
True.
So that's the biggest thing for me. And then we all have that one friend who can't never be on time for nothing.
Girl, I think my one friend is in here. And she knows who she is. That's it.
But we got that one friend that can never be on time for nothing. Or we have that friend that always says that everything revolves around them. So it's not even that they can't be on time or they don't want to be on time. It's just the world sets and revolves around them. And it's like, girl or boy, like, come on now. You special, but you ain't that special. Like,
the main character complex. Like,
right.
Yeah, girl, come on.
And so, like, with that comes where you have to set those boundaries. Like, I know with some friends, I have to be like, okay, if I know something is starting at 8, I'm going to have to text them and be like, yeah, it's 7:30. Just so they be on time. Like, and I used to be that person. I'm not going to lie. I'm not even going to sit here and act like I wasn't that person. I used to be late to everything. Every single thing. I could never be on time. I wanted to, but I just was never on time. But once I started to realize, as I get older and realize the concept of time and stuff, I was like, okay, yeah, like, I don't like when this happens to me, so let me not do this to other people. And then I became more responsible. I think that's the thing. Like, I became more responsible, and I started to appreciate time more. So now I try to be on time or before time for everything.
Time is definitely money.
Yes.
It really is.
And then another thing that I had mentioned, like I was just writing down some notes, jotting down some notes, y'all, like, because sometimes I be forgetting, but doing more for your friends, and not necessarily doing more for your friends, but like just like I said before, overextending yourself, and then you're not getting that back. Like, when you do things for others, I had to learn, like, you can't expect that person to do for you what you do for them, because then you will feel like, okay, well, I did X, Y, and Z, but you're not. You're not matching what I'm doing. And I feel like I'm always the one that's going out of my way to reach out to you, or I'm always the one that when we're going somewhere I have to drive, or I'm always the one planning, or like, it gets to be much. So like, with that, you have to set boundaries too. Like, y'all want to do something, we can do that. We can take this trip, but I'm not planning it.
Yeah.
You know, we can take this trip, but I'm not driving.
Yeah, and having those.
Yeah.
And I think, like we were saying earlier, I think with friends, it's so sensitive in a sense. And it shouldn't be, because it's like, you're my friend. If you're my friend, you're my friend.
Right.
But I think what kind of kills us with friendships when it comes to boundaries is we don't set those in the beginning. Like, I think when you're talking to a guy, you're talking to a girl, we're quick to be like, you know, these are my boundaries with this person because I'm not going to waste my time. Family is a little bit more tricky, but work, the same thing. When you get hired on at work, you hire me 9 to 5, I'm clocking out at 5 o'clock. Takia, I see you tomorrow, Becky. I see you tomorrow. It's 5:02. I see you tomorrow.
Right.
So we have these boundaries, but with friends, we kind of, you know, you meet someone, you start hanging out with them, you know, you start loving them and being there for them. So when stuff goes on that bothers you, it creeps up slowly sometimes. So it's easy to be like, okay, she was late a couple times, but now it's like a year and a half into your friendship, and it's like, did I say something? Or she gonna like, girl, you should have been said this. And so it's like kind of being able, but if you have those pure friendships, it's easy for you to be like, look, I need you to be on time, or I need you to do this for me, and because it's about I respect my time, or I know it's gonna be like, I don't, you know, whatever it is, if it's time, if it's being there for me, showing up for me, supporting me, whatever it is, you need to make sure you have that boundary and they know that.
Right. And that's like going back to what we were talking about the other day when I was saying, because you were saying that you do it so long and then they get comfortable. That's like teaching people, like, you have to start.
You gotta teach people how to treat you.
Yes, it's easy. It's easy to fall into a pattern of things, and like, you'll be like, okay, this happened, but I'm gonna let that slide. I'm not gonna say nothing this time, and then it happens again, and you said, oh, I'm gonna say something the next time, but then when that next time comes, you be like, well, I'm not gonna say nothing this time, maybe next time, or maybe you just be like, I don't know, maybe people are like me. I'm just a softie, honestly, I am. But I be like, well, I don't want this person to feel no type of way, so I'm not gonna say nothing. And I talk myself out of saying something when I know I feel some type of way. But if you feel some type of way, you have to say something, because nobody knows what you feel unless you express it.
Yeah.
And if they're real friends, once you express, hey, you doing this and this is making me feel some type of way, I need you to stop that. If they get mad or flip it on you, then that's not a real friend. But if they be like, okay, well, you express this to me, this is how you feel, let me, you know, try to work on this. And if you see a change, you see that's somebody who really wants to be in your life, and they respect the boundaries that you just put on a friendship, you know?
Definitely. I definitely agree. I think for me, like, what time is one of your biggest things, and I get that, because this is like Power Woman in a suit, you know, like those Rosie the Riveter, like, you can do it, she works hard, okay? For me, my biggest thing is also with friendships, with setting boundaries, is being in your business. I love my friends. I love, you know, friends are there when you down, they pick you up, they hold you close and all of that. But sometimes you have to set boundaries with your friends. Like, if I had a bad day at work, I want to, it's going to be a wine. But if something's going on personal, some people feel like they should have access to you, and you should be able to all open availability, and you have to tell them every single thing that's going on. And I think as friends, it's kind of hard because it's like, no, you don't. Like, sometimes I can be like, call you, I should be able to be like, Bri, I just had, like, I'm crying on the phone. I don't want to talk about it, but I just need you there. And you should be able to be like, okay, I'm coming, or okay, we're together. But some people get upset. They're like, I need you. Why are you? What's going on? Tell me what you got going on.
And you know what? I'm guilty of that, being that friend that shares too much of her business to her friends. Like, and I am working on that. I've got so much better now with keeping like what I have going on personally and personal. And unless I just really need to, I got a therapist. That's what happened. I got a therapist. But I was that person, like I said, I'm an open book. And while there's nothing wrong with being an open book, you have to be an open book with caution. Because everybody doesn't need to know everything about you.
That is true.
Like, giving people so much access to you can open up doors that you don't even want. Like, it can put you in positions or situations that you don't need to be in. Because when somebody knows everything about you, that gives them ammunition to like use it against you, or it's not good.
Definitely, and there's levels there. I know that's right. Spice Lady said, "Amen to the therapist." C Tree said, "Setting boundaries is the courageous thing to do. You have to be brave. Once you set those boundaries, you will be free. I'm private, and if you don't know, you don't need to know." That is true, and that's like an overall consensus. I think for me, my biggest thing with friendships, and my friends can tell you the ones on it, I'm a person, I like people, I don't need people, but like different people are different ways. Some people are introverts, extroverts, like I like to be around people. I get energy from others. Like, I'm good now, I could be home in the bed, but I just like that. So I had my biggest thing with friendships, with the boundaries with those, was knowing it's okay for your friends to tell you no. So, cause I'm the baby, I'm a little spoiled. So like growing up, like I didn't hear no, and that's so bad. But my mom will tell you. So with friends, it's like I'm like, hey, let's go somewhere, let's go here or there. And before they be like, I'm tired of here, or no, I don't want to go. I used to get offended, like, oh, you don't want to be my friend, you don't want to love me, you don't want to be there. And it's not that, it's just like, you have to take a step back, like they're doing what's best for them. And so it made it when I grew up. Now, currently, if I feel that way or I'm tired, like I used to be like, no, I'll go, but I had to set that boundary with myself and with my friends to say, it's okay, like we can let that go.
Right. That's just like a couple, not last week, before last, when we went out and celebrated after the first podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And then the next day, our friend Coco was like, hey, Bri, let's go out, let's do this. And I was like, girl, I'm grown. I can't do it 2 nights in a row. Like, we hung out until 2 o'clock this night. Last night. I can't do it 2 nights in a row. Like, I got responsibilities. Like, and that's setting that boundary. I love you. You're my friend, of course. I know you want to hang, but listen, the way my work schedule is set up, the way my life is set up, the way my sleep pattern ain't set up, like, we can't do it 2 days in a row. Like, we just can't. And, I did feel bad for telling her no, and I went back and forth. I was like, oh my God, she just want to go out and have fun. But I was like, I know I got to get up in the morning. I know I got to go to work. I know I got to work both jobs tomorrow. Like, that was just something that I just couldn't do. Like sometimes you have to say no and be like, I love you, but no. But no, I can't do it. And then if they love you, and they will understand, and they be like, okay. Because I used to be, I'm a people's person as well. I love people. But the older that I'm getting, I realize that I don't like people too. If that makes sense. Like, I love people, but I don't like people at the same time. Like, when after working all day at my full-time job, getting off, going straight to my part-time job, and being around, talking to people on the phone here, and then going there, And being around people and having to smile in their face and laugh and be fake and have conversations that you don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And I get home and I be like, oh my gosh, I'm so drained. Like, I don't want to be around nobody.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so draining. Like, recently we had a family reunion. Loved it. Had so much fun. Like, got to see all my family and everything. But I was telling my sister, like, while I was there, I was like, this is draining. Like, because there's so many different energies that you have to, like, get connected with. And then, like, you giving this energy out to one person and this energy to the next person. It's just, it's a lot.
It is.
It is a lot. So them days that I get to be in that house, like, I feel it right. My favorite place in my house right now is my bedroom. I love to be in my bedroom. I love to be in my bed. I just lay across my bed. I don't even have to have the TV on. I turn some music on. I got little lights on top of my bed. I turn my lights on, turn my music on. I just lay there and it's my zen place. Yeah. And it's like, when I am completely depleted from all of my energy, and my room is my space that gives me my energy back. So, like, why I love people, I don't like people.
I know that's right.
I know.
You gotta protect your energy and protect your peace. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Feature said, my stubborn is a blessing. Sometimes, if I don't want to do what I want, and sometimes I won't even explain. But I'm not required to set myself on fire to keep you warm. Ooh, I like that. I'm a copyright that. So
yes, I love that.
That is true. I definitely think so. And then, like you said, real friendships, they're there and they grow. And I'm at that stage now because, like, you know, I told you guys I'm 25. So me and my friends are at that stage. We have graduated from college. You know, college, undergrad, high school. You're talking 24/7 on the phone every day, seeing each other every single day, spending the night, going out every weekend. You know that. You know, we are younger, and I'm not old, but I feel old, y'all. But I'm not old. But you know, you are always around each other, and so now we've graduated. We have our own businesses, our own, you know, kids, family, boyfriends. We're starting to kind of be independent of ourselves. And we're not talking every day, but we don't like to have a group message, and we'll say at least once a week. Like I think it was my turn this week. And we don't have turns, but we just do it. I text the group message, I was just like, good morning, ladies, have a good day, I love y'all. And it's just like, they know if you need me, call me, but that's just a part of growing up and having that boundary of knowing, like, we're still here for each other. We just...
Exactly. I got some friends that I went to elementary with, middle school, and high school. Like, we're still friends, but we don't talk on a daily basis. We don't talk on a weekly basis. We definitely don't talk on a monthly basis. But when we do talk, it's like we pick up from where we left off. Yeah. And I feel like that's really important. Like, you don't have to talk to everybody every day. And that's one thing I had to learn. Like, I used to be that friend that if I didn't hear from you every day, I was like, oh, you must be feeling some type of way. You ain't your feelings. I must have did something. But now I'm like, I get it. Mm-hmm. I absolutely get it. Like I said, I talk to people literally all day. So once I'm done talking to people at my full-time job, and then once I'm done entertaining these folks at this bar, it's like, we ain't gotta talk.
That's how I be.
We do not have to talk. Like, we have a group message too. Me and my two best friends, we have a group message. And I started out texting more in that group message than anybody. I think I set the group message up. And I started texting more than anybody. Now they hear less from me than anything. And it's crazy, but it's like, because I see the messages. Sometimes I can respond to them. Sometimes I think I responded to them and I didn't. And I'd be like, well, it's too late to respond now, so I'm just going to read what they posted, what they done already said. But it's just like, to be like, people put conditions on friendships. Friendships shouldn't have conditions on them. Yeah. Like, it shouldn't be, you have to text me every day to be my friend. You don't have to text me every day to be my friend. I have people right now that I may hear from like once every 3 months, but I still consider them my friend. Mm-hmm. Like, they know if they need something that they can call me, or if I need something I can call them. Like, and then I was just talking to one of my coworkers from my full-time job. Me and her became really close, and I consider her a really good friend. She's one of my really good friends that I have here in South Carolina. And we were talking yesterday, I want to say. Yeah, before I went and got my hair done. So we was talking yesterday, And she was saying that her best friend just had a birthday, and they was asking her in this season, in this chapter, what is she focused on more? And she was like, boundaries. And I was like, that is so crazy that you said that, because our next episode is about boundaries. And then that is something that I'm trying to work on myself. And like this new, because I'm finna turn 32, so my new chapter, I'm trying to work on like being better at setting boundaries, because I set those boundaries for myself. And like I was telling her, I set boundaries for myself, for my friends. So like I used to be that type of person who would just insert herself in people, like, oh, you're gonna like me, you don't have a choice but to like me. Ask my best friend. That's how we became best friends. I met her in high school, 9th grade year, in gym. I talked to her for 2 weeks straight before she even opened her mouth and said anything to me. I came into the gym. I came into the gym every day on PE, and I sat next to her, and I was like, hey, how you doing? And she would never talk to me. She would just look at me. And every day I did the same thing for 2 weeks. And then finally she was like, hey, Bri. And I was like, you talk to me? And then from there we just became like really best friends. Like, she was gonna be my friend, whether she wanted to or not. Like, you gonna be my friend. Yeah. But you can ask my mom, like my family. I used to be like that when I was younger too. I used to insert myself on people, like my godmother and my godparents. Today, they're my godparents, because when I was a little girl, I was like, you're gonna be my godmother. Like, that's how they became my godparents. Like, so I know I have a problem with inserting myself on people. So I am trying to change that. So what I did was I set boundaries for myself, for my friendships. So I don't overdo it and push myself on them. So I'd be like, well, if they don't invite me to do this, I'm not going to invite myself, or, we can hang out, but I'm not going to be, hey, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Like, I had to stop myself from doing that, because sometimes people do like the conversation. They like to be able to talk to you, but they don't always want to be in the same space as you, and I had to learn that. So now it's just like, if you want to hang out with me, I'll let you extend the invitation. Hey girl, you want to come out? Or hey girl, you want to do this? Hey girl. Like, now I will be like, hey, you want to go grab dinner or drinks? And if they say yeah or no, then okay, I understand. I'm now in a season where I go eat by myself. Yeah. Because I got my standing date every Thursday or Friday where I go get my seafood, go get me a drink. I sit there by myself, and I have a date with myself. I'm okay with that. I used to never take myself on dates, but now I take myself on dates every week, and I'm fine with that. I don't need anybody with me, because I entertain myself. It sounds crazy.
Literally, I learned to set boundaries by sharing a room with Bri. That's the shit.
Now come on, now. Don't do that. She's lying. She's lying. I should have learned boundaries instead of sharing a room with her.
Yeah, I think definitely like the only thing was like she Jasmine said, different friends for different situations. Learn your friends' energy and friend launch age. I think that's true. I think you have different people for different reasons. Like, you have one friend that I can call, and I know if I call her, we go out. Oh, we about to have a good time. Not saying that my other friends won't have a good time, but that's just my friend. You have some friends. You have your brunch friend that she just does want to do brunch. You have your friend that you want to take to a museum. You have your friends you bring around your family, and some friends that you can't bring around your family.
Absolutely.
So you gotta know those, but it works together. And I think the biggest thing is, oh, did I cuss? No. Oh, I was gonna say, I was trying so hard last time, and I would make this whole podcast about cussing. But you have different people in your life for different reasons, and I think my biggest thing was I kind of have a possessive kind of thing with anything. Like my sister, that's my sister. When me and my sister go out and her friends are there, they're like, shit, oh my God, they're looking at her like, don't touch my sister. I'm like, that's my sister. Or like, my man, that's my man. Like, I'm in Miami with a pocky sign. Or, so like my friends, I'm like, these are my friends, and I had to realize, like, girl, you do not own nobody. You do not. And you can't be possessive. And if the friendship is pure, and if what it is pure, then it doesn't matter. And for me, one thing is so crazy, you guys, because all through my life, I've always had friend groups and sets of threes. I don't know why, but I like high school is sets of threes. Me and these two girls, and it's crazy because I feel like when it's odd number, no matter what, if the energy's there, it doesn't matter. But you know, sometimes all three people can't walk on the sidewalk. Somebody gonna walk behind, or in a car, only two people get in the front and one person in the back. Like you're still there. So growing up, or high school has been the same way. College, it was the same way. And even currently now that I'm thinking, it's like kind of a set of three right now. And I would be like, oh no, I gotta pull one. Like this gotta be me. But when it's pure, it doesn't matter. Right. And actually, one of my friends currently had to kind of set that boundary. Like, Zakia, we love you. Right. It's okay. Right. And I'm like, I know, but it's just like But like you said, the friendship will kind of be there.
Absolutely, like. And my sister was saying, friend language. You have to know your friend language.
Okay.
Your language.
Because y'all, my mouth is bad. So that's why I was like, dang. I think I made it like the last 10 minutes before I finished last podcast.
Yeah. Speaking of friends, I just want to pause for a minute. Like, y'all, my best friend is on here, and her birthday is today. So I want to say, happy birthday, best friend! She turned 31 today.
I love it. So the next one with boundaries after friendships we were getting into was
work.
Yes. Work.
Now I feel like this is a boundary that we all need to be familiar with, because if we let our jobs, they will try to run us in our graves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no lie. We all have at some point been to the point where we wanted to prove to our jobs that we're good enough or that we're the best. And we go above and beyond what our pay grade requires us to do. I don't know about y'all, but you pointed at me.
No, I agree.
I was gonna say I do that all the time. Like this is my issue. So I always feel the need to have to prove myself. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. This is something I'm working on as well, and especially at work. I know I can be the best of the best at what I do, but I'm still gonna go over and beyond because I don't know why, but I just want it to be seen that like, hey, I'm the person for this. I'm good at this. I can handle this. I can take care of this. But with doing so, I burn myself out so quickly. And then I get irritated because I become stressed with the job. But I brought that stress upon myself. Like, I'm over here doing manager's jobs and I'm still getting paid a regular associate pay. Like, what you doing that for? Do what you paid to do, get your check and go home.
Exactly. I think the biggest thing that I've always learned, my mom told me, work that job, don't let that job work you. And what I mean is, if you want, like if you know you're in a company and you know like it's quick like mobility, you can move up, and sometimes it's okay to do that extra, go a little bit over knowing it, but you work that job. Meaning if it's been 5-6 months and you burnt out and you doing all this and they haven't even taught you, recognized you, know that job is working you. Or overtime. If you at a job and they're like, oh, okay, if you can come in, Saturdays, you can work extra, that's benefit them. If you like, I want that check, I want to make that time and a half, I'm not doing nothing, so sit down to this weekend, then do it, But don't, okay, if I go here, I got to go pick my kids up, then I got to find someone and it's stressing me out to do this. You letting that job work you, put it back on. Like, I think you gotta find that balance of it.
True. And I'm that person, like, my supervisors can call me at the drop of the dime. At the drop of a dime and be like, hey, Bri, we ain't got coverage today. Can you come in? And I'm like, yes, I can come in. Sure. Knowing I'm tired. Knowing I done been to work all week long. I ain't got but 2 hours of sleep. Yes. But I'm going to take my little happy-go-lucky behind in it. Why do I do that?
I'm getting with it. And the reason for it is a lot of older generations, they laugh at my generation of millennials to Gen Zers. They say, you guys are quick. Y'all quit to quit. Y'all quit to jump from a job. But I'm like, we're not. And no offense, I love my grandpa and my man now. But like, you know, back then you didn't have a lot of choices. You didn't have a lot of jobs. So if you had a job that wasn't the best, or it was an issue, or this and that, it's still an issue. You kind of had to stay. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna keep going. You stayed because it was like you didn't have anything else to do. Like it was only factories, or it was only this restaurants or whatever. But now it's like, okay, bye. Like if I'm not happy, if I'm not mentally where I need to be, but that, you know, then I'll go somewhere else. I'll find my work somewhere else.
Right.
Definitely. So the next, oh, we got some more comments. I'll let Bri read those.
Spice Lady said, it's not about the people, it's about the business. Tracy said, very grateful for the company I work for. They make sure that you put family first. That's very important. Jasmine said, I'm very quick. I have to be satisfied. Mm-hmm. Work smart, not hard.
Work smarter, not harder. I know that's right. Literally.
Absolutely.
And you make them like jobs stink, you know. A lot of jobs stink because they give you a cozy, a pen, and a t-shirt. That means they are great. You can keep all of that, okay?
Right.
You can keep it. But definitely so.
Tracy said we don't have to settle. I'm glad she said that, because that's something like we talked about earlier this week. So I interviewed for a job earlier this week, and I actually was offered the position, but because of the compensation, I had to turn the job down. Now I'm gonna tell y'all, I wasn't too excited about having to turn the job down, because they led off strong. They said Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Off every weekend, you know, holiday pay, 401k, health, dental, vision, all the benefits. Mm-hmm. But then when she got to that compensation, she went quick past that, and I was like, oh, let's rewind real quick. What did you say the pay was? Mm-hmm. No, ma'am, I can't. And they wasn't willing to negotiate the pay, so I was like, no, we can't do that. I'm not gonna be able to take the job, and it did. I think it kind of just broke my spirit more than anything, because I was like, man, I know I gave my all in this interview. You know, I put in time to make sure this interview was great, both of the interviews, and it's just like I know I wowed y'all, because even she said it. She was like, you did great at the interview. Like we really, you know, after we reviewed your interview, we was like, dang, we want to bring her in and talk to her more, but I just can't, it has to make sense for me, you know, I know that if I'm getting paid a certain amount now, if I drop down, I'm going to be put back in the state where I'm living paycheck to paycheck, I'm not happy, and then I'm going to have to get another job, so now I have to work a second or third job, whereas right now I don't have to work a second job. It's just something that I do because I like to make money, you know, so, yeah, I had to just be like, well, my boo helped me realize that you worth more, because I called him and I was really upset, and he was like, what you crying for? Like,
we love him. We love him.
He was like, don't you know your worth? Like, if they ain't willing to pay you, okay. They lost, not yours. You got a job, and I had to get that in my head. Like, you still are gainfully employed, so there's no reason for you to be upset over spilled. You crying over spilled milk for what? And one door closes, another one will, and the greater door is gonna open. So,
and sometimes God puts you in a position where you think you're going somewhere for a reason, and it ain't even meant to be that lane. Like that ain't even you, that culture, that environment, that whatever it is, that ain't even your spirit. So sometimes you gotta take accountability of what you want and what you do, and like you said, you know your worth, and you definitely know your worth, and doors definitely open it up.
Right.
My favorite topic next is going to be on boundaries. Your family. It's the reason they say family ends with I-L-Y. I love you, but sometimes your family will be your biggest downfall. And you definitely, that's a big one when it comes to boundaries and with your family. And I'm very big on family. Sometimes blood is not fine. Family can be people that you really are close, brought up with, and who you love. But I think for family, it's hard to establish boundaries. You know, especially they like, girl, I want your butt. Okay, but I can write my own now. So I need you to take a step back and mind your business, grandma. Okay? And I wouldn't say it like that, but you know.
Now, girl, you better not be talking to your grandma.
No,
like
not
you respect your elders now.
I was like, grandma, like, I get it, grandma, but hey, we'll talk about it later. And she was like, okay. But definitely with your family. So what do you feel like as far as your family, things that you do, or like the hardest things when it comes to family on setting those boundaries?
I don't know. I think because I'm always, I don't know, I'm a family person. I always want to make sure like family is good, you know, because family is everything, you know.
Definitely.
Sometimes we have dysfunctional families, of course. Like, we don't always get along, but we're a family at the end of the day. Like, if nobody else is going to have your back, my sister's going to have my back, no matter what. Like, I don't care. Like, well, some of them I don't know. But I know I can call my mama's children. I can call my oldest sister on my daddy's side. Like, I know she gonna have my back.
Yeah.
Regardless, like, so, well, I don't think she the oldest, but she older than me. But, you know, I know she gonna have my back, you know, regardless. So I know my sisters are gonna have my back. My mom, she goes hard for her children. One thing about her, she's gonna go hard for her children. Like, with me, like, my mom was a little special touch in my heart because, like, she had to sacrifice a lot with me. Like, especially growing up, I was always, you know, sick in and out of hospitals. I have epilepsy. Everybody who knows me know that. Like, that's something I dealt with all my life. And, like, I struggled a little, you know, and I require a lot more of my mom's attention than my other sisters. And I think because of that, like, me and my sisters are close, but I feel like we could be a lot closer if I didn't require so much of my mom's attention growing up. And so because I required so much of her attention, they became closer. So they're like super best friends. And I'm like, I'm fit in where I get in. But, you know, I know if anything comes to boil, I can always go to my sisters. My sister's gonna have my back. They gonna ride. They gonna ride for me to the wheels fall off. Like,
about them sisters.
Yeah. So like, it's hard to really kind of set those boundaries when you have people who have always been there, done things for you, and like, and you know, if you need them, you can call them. They're gonna be there. So it's kind of hard to be like, I don't want to tell them no. You know. So if they say, hey, I need this. I need that, like, even if I don't have it, I'm going to try to find a way to get it because I don't want to tell them no.
Yeah.
And when I do have to say no, it eats me up on the inside. Like, because I don't want to ever have to tell them no. So, like, I always be like, oh my gosh. Like, and I contemplate on what to say, on how to say it so it doesn't sound like I just don't want to do it. But I just can't, you know.
Yeah.
So, I haven't set boundaries with them. Yeah, it's hard for me. I'm still working on that too.
Yeah. I think for me, it's like who it is. My sister, that's my heart. That's like I have my mom. My mom's great. My mom go hard for her kids. But I call my sister somewhat my mom because like my mom raised me and was nothing like that. But like it's just I don't know. Like my sister, that's my mom. Like I go to her and sometimes I be having to chill out. Like something happened to work a couple weeks ago with somebody else, and my sister knows the girl, and my sister was like, I'll be up there tomorrow. Because who is she? And I was like, girl, you gonna get me fired? She's like, no, I'm not gonna do nothing, but I'm let her know she don't know who you talking to. And I was like, girl, I love you, sissy. But like those relationships, we don't have boundaries. Like anything she needs, I'm there for her. I think because of that, it helps for us. We help each other with boundaries with other people. Like, I'm like, you know you're not supposed to be doing this. Like, you need to let that person go, and she'll do the same thing with me. But other people in my family, I have those boundaries. And the reason for it is I love you. My love doesn't change. But because I love you, like for me, family impacts you heavily, and I wasn't realizing certain things. So I won't say a person or a type of person because it can get mixed in the group. I don't got time for family group chat to be blowing up tonight. But I had a male figure in my life, and he was very like hot-headed, temperamental and stuff like that. And he gets mad, he'll go off. No matter who you are, mom, just like he just sees red and he can't control it. Well, she can, but like he just chooses not to. And he will cuss you out, get in your face. He won't put his hands on you, but he'll cuss you out, get in your face, say the nastiest of things to you. The next day come to you and apologize. And then it became one of those things. Well, we know that's the yes, getting back in. Sorry, y'all again. We're gonna work on this, start calming. But like I was saying, like he'll get mad, he'll cuss everybody out, the next day he'll apologize. And family, it became like, okay, that's him. We know he's the hothead of the family, we let it go. But as I started getting growing up, I realized that male figure influenced my relationship with men. Mm-hmm. I would allow men to talk certain ways to me, degrade me, be disrespectful, get angry, and then apologize or buy me a gift or do whatever, and I would accept it. So when I started realizing that pattern, like, not saying he's the reason for nothing because I'm the reason, but I realized like I love you, you the supportive person to me, but your behavior is not okay no matter who you are, and that is affecting me personally, and I don't want that relationship anymore, so I had to take a step back. So now we chill, we hang out, I see you, but when that happens, gotta go. Or like it's a space right there, it's a boundary. You can come up to me, I will call the police and I press them charges, family or not, okay? My mom, my sister might be mad, but I love y'all. But I definitely think having that. Oh, I love that.
So, Tracy said I have the hardest time setting boundaries with my dad because he doesn't care. I love him to death, but I often ignore his calls. And I love Tracy to death, but I often ignore her calls.
I think, but a lot of people do that. I think with family, like friends, you can go up and be like, "Girl, look, this is what you're doing. It's bothering me." Work, you can go to your boss and say, "Hey, I'm not doing this OT no more." Family gets sensitive, okay?
Right.
So I think with family, sometimes we just avoid them. Like I ain't answering the phone. Like me and my sister, it's so bad, but my brother might call us and call her. She won't answer. She'll text me. She like, he about to call me, don't answer. And I'm not gonna answer. And we just be talking on the phone like a little. And it's so bad. And I hope he's not on here. Be sorry. But it's just sometimes it's better to just ignore them.
Well, for me, Tracy's like my best friend. Like outside of my other best friends, Tracy's my best friend. She know that. But like sometimes Tracy will call you in the middle of the day. Like she know you at work. She don't want nothing. She want to just call you to show you the cat. Girl, don't nobody want to see your cat. Or she'll call you super early in the morning when she know you done work all night. What you doing? Girl, I'm asleep. Why are you calling me? Like, so sometimes you gotta, I do set boundaries with her because sometimes I have to ignore her call. I love her to death. But sometimes I see her call and I be like, this girl don't want nothing. But see, this is her aggravating trait. She you don't answer the phone call for her. She gonna call you back to back to back to back.
You gonna answer? I know that's right. You ain't gonna ignore me.
I love her to death, though. I love me some Tracy. She crazy, she silly, she fun. I love her. Yeah. I love all my sisters. Understand we all have our own unique fun, and that's what I love about them. Like I know Jasmine's the calm sister. She's the calm, collected sister. Tracy's the you said this. She gonna pop off quick. She the hot-headed little sister. Like she ready to ride all the time. She stay on 100. So like if you want some calm, collected, good sound advice, you gonna go to Jasmine. If you want somebody who's ready to ride and ready to pop off, you gonna go to Tracy. Like, cause she be like, do I need to come to South Carolina? I get in the car, she ain't been here today. I'm
No.
like, I get in the car.
But she will.
Right.
She has it, but she will. That's how it be though, for real. Like, it's just, family is your family, literally. And you love them. You gotta live with them. You know, I just think don't let family be a downfall because, I mean, eventually, I'm not saying everybody wants to get married, everybody wants to have kids, but I would say a lot of people, you create your own family. And so you use those healthy traits that you learn from your original family, your base family, for what you want your new family, your new kids, your new whoever it is, your circle to be, but you also learn those negative things that you don't want to bring.
And you know what? Sometimes, I'm glad you said that. So sometimes you have to create those boundaries to break those generational curses.
Mm-hmm.
Because, especially in the black family, we are so conditioned to follow, like, great grandma did this, grandma did this, mama did this, so I'm gonna do this. Like, but what they did didn't always work.
Mm-hmm.
Because how they knew how to parent is just how they knew how to parent. You know, they didn't know anything. They were never parents before. Like, we were never parents before, but we see from our elders, like, okay, you did things this way. I don't really care for how you handle that, but I get your concept behind it. So not saying that you did it wrong. It's just you can tweak it a little and try to make it better. Because as children, we should always strive to be better than our parents, and our parents should always want their kids to be better than what they were.
Definitely.
Because when they were parents, they didn't know anything about being parents, you know, but the children learn from their parents and their grandparents and the parents before them. So, like, I think setting boundaries is healthy in families that help break those generational curses.
Definitely. And then you gotta be firm in it too, because I know, like, I'm not a parent. No time soon. But I know, like, a lot of, I have 13 nieces and nephews. Yes, my brothers are very busy. So, anyways, I think seeing each one of my siblings, the way they grew, like, raised their child, as far as discipline, what schools they went to, everything is crazy. It's exciting to see the different things, but that's the big thing with family. Like, if I don't want my child whooped, but grandma like, girl, I raised you and I whooped your butt, you know what I'm saying, or whatever like that. That's a big boundary people have with those. Like, I get what you're saying, but no, this is my boundary. This is what I'm setting for my family. Don't do this, or if I don't want my child eating. Like, I'm be honest, all my siblings know I'm the fun auntie. I don't listen to kids' mom. Sorry. If you don't, I'm being honest, all my lyrics are E for explicit. And now I'm not going to play like a really raunchy song, but I'm going to play some Lil Baby. Sorry, that's just me. And if I'm getting my nieces but that's your right. If you don't want your kid exposed to that vulgar or certain things, that's fine. But if they get an Auntie Cece car, I to the top of the Maybach, we ride it. So I think it's just like with family, you gotta have those boundaries, but also be, you know, transparent about that.
But I hear what you're saying about, you know, they get in your car to steer me, but you also have to respect the boundaries of their parents as well.
True.
Because if the parents say, hey, I don't want my children to listen to this, then you can still listen to it, just like edited version, you know?
And I hate them bleeps. We're gonna ride in silence.
That's understandable, but I think you'll understand more when it's your kids, because when you say, I don't want my kids doing something, and then somebody else turn around and say, well, I don't care, if they with me, they with me. Like, no, like, you have to respect that. You have to respect what they say. So, yeah, like, I get what you're saying.
But I get it.
Yeah.
A couple years from now, we're gonna really look at this podcast. I'm like, dang. C-Tree said, I do not whip my son, and I allow him to ask questions and say things I wasn't allowed to. My son is respectful and kind. And that's true. Yeah. I love that. Well, I don't know. I said it's true. I feel like I know he is. Because I like you as a person. I can't wait to meet you. But it's just all about what you want and what you take. And sometimes you take certain things that don't listen, and sometimes you know, and it's all about that. Red Velvet. I got a big family, big problem. I got big problem boundaries with my family, from my sister to my mom to my dad to my uncle and cousin. It's too much to say, but my family just know not to play with me and mine because I'm the black sheep of the my own biological family. And that's true, you know. And like I say, I think that's the reason sometimes like people, blood doesn't always make you family in that sense. Like I respect it, but you create your own family, you create your own people. You have some people that are family to you, and you just have to have those boundaries. I think, like you say, you just have to. I think it's easier for family to be like, well, girl, I like your butt, and girl, I see you.
I'm your mom, but you gotta do this because I raised you. I took care of you all these years. No, you took care of me because that's what you had to do. It's not something that I chose for you to do. I didn't ask to be here. You chose to have me.
Exactly.
You know. So why I respect you and your opinion and what you have to say. You did things your way. Let me do things my way.
Definitely agree. And that's just all about it. But you work, and I think you just know who you are. You know, like you know who to talk to in your family and who not to talk to. And cousin, no, I didn't grow up with cousins. Let me ask you that. You know, like I think cousins in the black community is very big. Like cousins, my cousins, I didn't have those. Like I grew up with my family, but like I didn't like have to cut sleepovers with my cousins or anything like that. Like
girl, in our household, our cousins was our siblings. Like one of my aunts, her sons is older than us, so of course he wouldn't have been in that category. But like my mom used to have my cousin, my other aunts, Lord bless her, so her son, he used to be with us all the time. Like if we wasn't at our house, we was at my grandma's house or at my auntie's house. We was always all together. And even though like we had older cousins, they were still around sometimes, but it was mainly like me, my two sisters, and my cousin Brandon, and then our cousin Erica. Like we was always all together. So I grew up heavy with my cousins.
Okay. Yeah, I did. I mean, I started out with you, but yeah, we're gonna need that for another day. And then lastly, another big one is boundaries when it comes to relationships. That one. The boundaries can get blurred. And I think it depends on a person, it depends on a relationship. All boundaries are different. But I think you have different types of boundaries. Like, so for me, I kind of wrote down, like, you have physical boundaries. So when it comes to a relationship, the physical in it being like, that can be sex, it can be PDA, it can be kissing, or, you know, those boundaries, I think, you know, some people don't like holding hands in public. It's not they're ashamed, it's awkward, they get social anxiety. So you have to express those boundaries. Or if we mad, I think when we get in relationships, especially when it comes to like sexual things, like when we get upset, it's like, girl or boy, like we together, we mad, you still gonna give it to me. Like, no still means no. Consent is everything. Like, y'all know what consent is. Also, like, you know, abuse. Boundaries when it comes to that, like physical abuse, and definitely emotional also, but those boundaries, like a man, I know, we all know, you know, sometimes a man don't have to put his hand on you to cross that boundary. Put your holes in the wall, throwing things, scare tactics. Abuse have many different, like, definitions. You have physical, you have mental, you have verbal. All of those are abuse, no matter what it is. If he's punching a wall, that's still some type of abuse because it's scaring you. Like, that's a scare tactic. That's abuse, you know? So, like, yeah, like, you definitely have to set those boundaries there. And I think that just comes with the type of person you're with. Like, certain people, like, I know me, I'm a PDA person. I'm not about to climb on your lap and straddle you in public, but like, you know, I like to hold hands, I like to kiss, I like to be affectionate and stuff like that. But I remember I used to talk to this guy, and he just was like it was about my family. Like, my family, I'm big on family life, so I'm like that. My family know they know their sister. So like, we be chilling at like cookouts and stuff. Like, you know, I might sit on his lap or hold his hand or kiss him, and he was just like, "Hey, like, that's your family. Your brother's gonna kick my butt." And I was like, I don't care. But I had to reset his boundaries on, like, he just felt awkward, and it was a respect thing for him as a man. Like, I don't want, you know, to do that in front of this person and that person. Right. So that's definitely a big one.
I don't know. I think I'm kind of in that too because it's like I feel like I don't know. I feel weird like kissing someone in front of my mom or my dad. Like, why are we doing that? Like, no, like or my aunts and uncles. Like, we're not supposed to do that. Like, no. So it's like I don't know. I guess it's a time. I feel like it's a time and place for anything. We can be like, we can hug up or we cuddle up, but like I don't know. I don't know why I'm weird like that. But
it's not weird. That's just you. I think it's just who you are. You know, that's not weird about it. Like my daddy knows. Like my daddy's. I'm like daddy's girl with me. That's a lot. I'm a virgin. But my family is loud. Like. And then, cause see, I'm always the one, like I'm single, all of them are like together with their baby mama or who they're with their baby daddies. So like, when we get together, I'm like, they be just telling, I be like, ooh, they wild. Okay. Also, emotional boundaries, like we talked about, when it comes to relationships, some people need that mental break, and I think like we kind of talked about, that's the reason for me, and then it doesn't have to do with living together or anything, but I really, really love separation. That I can come to your house, you can come to my house, we're living together, just not that. Because some people, like, you work with people all the time, so when you get off of work, you might not want to call boo bae, you know, you might want to decompress and get your mental right, and have that boundary of, okay, they're not boo bae, she has to right. But, you know, you might want to have that boundary of, like, separation. Like, I just need, like, I can't talk to you 24/7 all the time when I'm going through things. Like, just give me that boundary. Or just the intellectual boundary of, like, we can have a conversation and I might not agree with you, but you're not going to disrespect me.
Right. And that's understandable, though, because sometimes you do need that time to decompress. Like, for him, like, Sundays are his days where he just take care of himself. And I absolutely love that. Like, so I know if I don't hear from him on Sundays, I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, I didn't hear from you today, because he's already set that boundary in the beginning. It's like, look, Sundays, like all throughout the week, I go hard. Like I'm with the kid, like his son, he has his nephew right now. So like I'm with the kids, I'm helping them with schoolwork, I'm dealing with work, you know, this and that. I'm juggling so much stuff. On Sundays, I disconnect from everything. I mean, I put my phone down, I just disconnect. And everybody needs that day that you disconnect. Definitely. And because that boundary was already set, don't mean I don't call. I still call. Or I still text. But if I don't get an answer or if I don't get a reply to the text message, I'm not feeling any type of way. You know? Because I know like, okay, Sundays are your days. Like so I give you those days, you know? Yeah, definitely.
And like I'm attached. I'm like a freaking octopus. I got 8 hands. Like, come on, baby. Like, be my man. But I think, but see, because I'm like that, you know, in the beginning when you're talking to someone and you get those butterflies, you're going to sleep on the phone and your face coming all the time.
We ain't going to sleep on the phone with nobody now.
Or you're like, you know, seeing each other every day. See, don't give me that. And I'm very clear when I'm talking to someone. I'm like, I want expectations to be a reality. So if you're going to give me all this attention when we're courting and pursuing as far as like 24 access, always talking every single day, I need that consistency. And that's not realistic because life happens and I get mad. I'm busy, he's busy, but I just feel like I'd rather let you keep it on a real level because now you feel like, well, babe, like, I'm gonna like do the game for 2 hours of 2K. You ain't playing the game for 2 hours of 2K for the past 5 months while you want to play it now. But that was his boundary, but I wish we would have talked about this or had that established it. So now it's like, okay, babe. Like, that's why.
Right. So, Tracy said, give me my space. I set times to talk. That is agreeable for the both of us. Yeah. That's true.
That's true.
And you do like, I used to feel if I'm with you, if I'm in a relationship with you, I'm supposed to have access to you, like all the time. And I don't feel that way anymore. Like, if we're married, then that's something different. But we're just dating or we're in a relationship with each other, like, I don't have to always have all access to you because I don't want all access to me all the time. You know? And that just comes along with like growing like growing and maturing and evolving and understanding like sometimes you just need to be by yourself. Like you say all the time, like you could never live with a guy until you're married. Like I live with the guy. We lived together for like what 6 or 7 years. Like we lived together. So it was like, and it was crazy because we knew each other, but we went from, we didn't even go through the talking stage. We went from the meeting each other stage to being with each other every single day. Every day. So like once we did move in together, which was like not long after we started like being with each other all the time, it went to, oh, you're here too much, you're around too much. And then I started to feel some type of way because like before you always wanted me around. And now I'm here too much, I'm around too much, I'm doing too much. Like how was that possible? I'm doing the same things I was doing from day one, now at day 168.
Yeah. And
it was because we didn't set those boundaries in the beginning. Like we went from, oh, we exchanged numbers to, oh, I'm gonna come spend time with you before you go to work. Get off work. I'm at your job because you want me at your job. And then you get off work and then you're at my house, so I'm at your house. And then eventually we combine living spaces together. And now we're just always here with each other all the time. Like that's toxic. That is toxic. Give me some time to miss you. Like, how do I know that this is what I want if I don't never have time to actually miss what I have? Because if you never like have that space with somebody, you can't know for sure if this is something that you want or need.
Definitely. C-Tree said, let me stop calling you that. You need space in a relationship. Being around someone that hurt that much is unhealthy. Spice Lady said definitely unhealthy.
Definitely.
I agree.
It was definitely.
So let me ask you this, because I see a lot of things like with married couples and they're like, they're independent, they have lives, work, but I see a lot of married couples are like, me and my husband have never spent a night apart. Like, we don't, like, we can go out with your boys, hang out, do whatever, go to a bachelor party, but we have never spent a night apart. Like, or the people on the flip side, the people that are like, you can go do whatever, we spend time apart. You can go for a whole week and be going, and I'm fine with that. Like, do you feel like it's median, or like how do you hold each side?
I feel like you need that time away, whether it's a trip with your girls or just taking a trip by yourself. You know, just to like decompress and get yourself back to get yourself back in line or whatever. You have to have that time away from, even if you're married. Like my sister is married, her husband been together, they met in middle school, you know, probably elementary, I don't remember. But they're married, you know, and she goes on her trips without him. They go on trips together, of course, but she go on her girl trips, you know, like she had her time away from him. They're not always like joint to each other, you know. Yeah. So
that is true. I can see that. I agree. We need it. But these conversations was lit today too. I'm excited. I love y'all so much. Like, they're just so nice. I think the biggest thing for me that I take away of like all of this is like when doing boundaries, when setting them, when trying to figure them out, no matter if it's work, relationships, schools, friendships, even kids. You gotta have boundaries with them little kids too. You want to make sure that you are assertive. You know your worth. Don't be negotiable about yourself. That's one thing you cannot afford to give or be lenient on is yourself, your mental health. Okay. And be clear and direct about what you want, because no one can read your mind. No one can tell you what you want except for you. But that all goes into knowing who you are and what is required for you and what you need to be fed into.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with you. Like, we sometimes put ourselves in positions of feeling used or abused or unappreciated because we don't speak up for ourselves. You have to be an advocate for yourself.
Yes.
Like, at all times you do. Because like you said, no one's gonna know how you feel if you don't say how you feel. Speak up. Let people know. Set those boundaries and stick with those boundaries, you know. And I'm speaking to myself. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm speaking to myself when I say that. I'm doing much better at setting boundaries, but I am not all the way fully there. So this segment today was something that I needed because I definitely have some things that I have to work on. I'm not perfect. I know that. By no means I'm not perfect at all. But every day I try to be a better version of me than the day before. So and that's what I take out of this. Like, set those boundaries and try to be a better you tomorrow than you were today or yesterday.
I love that. Yes.
And now I want to give my affirmations because y'all, we done ran way over. The live did stop on us once and we had to come back in, but I appreciate y'all for just jumping back in quickly because y'all love us, we love y'all. We love y'all more, honestly we do. So my affirmation for today, was there any more comments before we,
No, that was it.
Okay, cool. So my affirmation for today is, I am growing closer to my true self every day. I am aligning with the fullness of who I am. I am finding the clarity I need to reveal the right direction for my life. I am clear about what I want, what I deserve, and what I can accomplish. I believe in my possibilities, and I am going after them. Amen. And I am worthy of all that I desire. I'm going to read that part again. I am worthy of all that I desire. Not some, not most, but all that I desire. I am ready to climb to the top. Y'all, I love y'all. We love y'all.
We love y'all. Thank you.